are featured in this relay race normally. So they're like actually very skilled. And then we're going to throw in myself and then the in-arena host, Alexis Perry, who's now doing it for the Denver Broncos. So I was like, what could possibly go wrong aside from everything? Because I'm a horrible skater. And so we had like a practice run and I was like, oh my God, this obstacle course is insane. I'm going to fall on my face in front of like thousands of people during this intermission, but I'm like, I'm game. Like it's all for fun. So not only was I performing my normal duties as a rinkside reporter that evening, I also had to like lace up the skates, go out on the freshly dammed ice that I was like terrified of and, you know, skate in this relay race. So Mark Rycroft was my team captain, and there was a lot of trash talk leading up to said relay race, especially between myself and John Michael Lyle. So he ends up acquiring Bernie the mascot's t-shirt cannon. And we're like, ha ha ha, t-shirt cannon, like whatever. Like you're not actually going to shoot anyone with that. So I make it all the way down to the far end of the ice. I literally am like a Bambi, like a baby giraffe out on skates out there. It's like not pretty. And I make it over like one of the final obstacles and I'm skating and I see that she's beating me. And I'm like, oh man. So I'm trying to speed up and I hear the cannon shoot. And so Alexis just drops like sniper style because she heard it. And I'm still going and it shoots off my ankle. So it ricochets off the ice and then up into my ankle. But this thing, like him and Bernie said it to probably like the highest PSI could possibly go. Like they're trying to like shoot this t-shirt through a wall. And it hits me and I stay up for a good couple of seconds. Like, oh, I got this. I don't have it. Nope. And I fell pretty hard. I mean, I was okay. I got back up and finished, and it was one of the funniest things that I've been a part of. And the replay was, you know, it was shown everywhere. Mark Rycroft illustrated the whole thing. So I'm never going to be able to live that down.
And then 1 month later, you head over to the home of the Goya Bean Factory, and that's Secaucus, New Jersey. And you begin your journey with DAZN and NHL Network. So you're making that move, and obviously Metro Forward was a tough decision to come on over to New York, New Jersey to do that. But, you know, you seem to settle in quite well, and, you know, you seem to be having a great time with all these boxing events. You're a star on NHL Network now. And of course, how I know you, for the listeners out there, is through Change Up on DAZN, one of the baseball show for DAZN, where originally we weren't even allowed to even tweet more than twice a night or anything. We didn't have an Instagram back in my day, but did my best to get Lauren's clips out there. So just wanted, you know, if you had I know this is going to be tough, but just sum up your last year here in the Big Apple on New Jersey.
Well, it's the fact that I was able to work with you. That is what I would attribute my success to on Change Up. And obviously, Joe, working with you, that would be the reason for my success on NHL Network. So let's give credit where credit is due, gentlemen. Summing up the last calendar year, or a little bit more than that, it's been such a whirlwind, but it has been one of the biggest growing experiences that I've ever had in my life, you know, obviously professionally, but also personally, moving somewhere with, I mean, I was literally like on a road trip with the Avs because I didn't want to miss anything on like, I think it was like during the week. And then I came home on a Friday, cleared out my desk. My parents had like packed up my apartment for me. God bless them. And like Saturday had a going away party. And then Sunday no, that's a lie. Friday night had a going away party, got on a flight Saturday, which is 2 giant bags, like tearful at the airport saying bye to my dad, left my car there and flew out to New York, New Jersey. And we started work on Sunday. So it was literally such a whirlwind trying to find an apartment. Like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to live? Starting a new show with a new, you know, like a U.S. platform. And the people here have been exceptional, hands down. And they've made this transition just such a rewarding experience. I've made so many great friends, and started off living in New Jersey, moved to Manhattan because I wanted to have that New York experience right in time for a global pandemic. So obviously my timing was perfect. But yeah, getting to, you know, I never thought in a million years I'd be covering boxing. And now I'm like actually like writing, producing, shooting, and editing my own like weekly boxing show.
Wow. Just
because I'm just trying to stay in touch. But yeah, it has honestly been it has exceeded my expectations. And I have to say it's the people, but the energy in this place and the hustle and the excitement and just the quality of the people. It's, you have people coming from everywhere or homegrown that are seeking to be the best at what they do. But I think there's a tremendous amount of compassion as well. So I can't say enough good things. Like, it's honestly been one of the best years of my life.
Absolute whirlwinds getting ready for change up last year. I myself started like the day before the show and came together very nicely. And, you had all these great people, your guy, Freddie Ballgame, Freddie Lomali. Now he's down in Miami,
the best.
Killing it for Telemundo. Keith Irizarry, who you did a lot of shows with. He's full of energy.
Yeah.
And then I think you had who I would say was the captain or the quarterback or the point guard of the team, and that's Adnan Virk, and he was really he's really hands down. He's hands down one of the nicest guys in the business, and some of the shows you did with him were absolutely hysterical because he's just kicking his feet up, relaxing. But I got to ask you about working with Scott Rogowski because I don't think previously you worked with a comedian as your analyst or anything. So how was that? Because I know at times Adnan and myself in the studio with him could not hold in our laughs. And he's reading a highlight or a shot sheet and he's making jokes and they just come so naturally. And, a lot of shot sheets coming in out of the studio and he gets very mad about recycling. So just overall a funny guy. And I know Adnan spoke to us when he was on our show saying like, he never thought he'd be working with a comedian as an analyst, but it's just one of the funnier experiences of his life.
Yeah, I think that was a brilliant pick on behalf of Logan Swaim and DAZN, and I didn't expect it. I was like, wait, you mean the HQ trivia guy? Like,
yeah, on my first day, I came into the meeting, I sat down next to Scott, and I text my fiance and my wife. I'm like, I'm sitting next to Scott Rogowski, and she's like, are you kidding me right now?
It was crazy. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I worked a handful of shows with him, and the things that would just so effortlessly come out of his mouth with a straight face would be shocking and extremely funny. And for him to just continue rolling with it, and I was like, okay, so what is my reaction supposed to be? Am I supposed to laugh because that's my natural reaction, or am I supposed to stifle this? Because he is by no means your traditional like sportscaster, which I think like it adds to the unique aspect of what Change Up really is. So yeah, it was always an adventure. Obviously, he hated the fact that we had physical paper shot sheets. So he's trying to make a point by collecting all of them and putting them on his desk to show how much paper we were actually using over the course of a single season. But yeah, it was never a dull moment with Scott Rogowski, and I was always on my toes. And it's a 3-hour show, Nick, as you know. So there are times when it can kind of like go on and it can get like not dull, but you just kind of like just chill, and like I just had to be ready for whatever he was going to say. And I was like, okay, he can get away with certain things. Like I need to make sure I don't say anything that's going to get me in trouble.
That is certainly for sure. And obviously it's unique because you're doing MLB and NHL. So who is your favorite analyst to work with, whether it's NHL or MLB? Put you on the spot. That's like picking
your favorite child. You totally put me on the spot.
All right. If you want, you could give us your least favorite if that makes things easier for you.
Okay. No. I like how you just you can completely pivot it, and now I'm ready to tell you who my favorite analyst is. The best part about like the whole setup of MLB NHL networks is that like we have a bullpen area, and then of course we have the makeup room, and that's where everyone just kind of like congregates and intermingles. And that's how I was able to kind of like form some of the relationships over the course of the summer when I was the new guy working for DAZN, and they're like, what is this like crazy thing for the kids? And like, what is the DAZN?
DAZN?
So Harold Reynolds, DAZN. Harold Reynolds was one of the first guys that was just so kind and like, hey, if you need anything, I'm here to help. And he's kind of like one of the faces of MLB Network. So I will forever be thankful for that. But to like rub elbows with, Eric Burns and John Smoltz and Pedro Martinez and it's Kevin Millar, like we're just so lucky. So all of those guys like just come to the top of my mind. But then
When you ask,
Sorry, go ahead.
When you ask Scott Rogowski this question, his answer is Bill Ripken. So that I just wanted to point that
Well,
out.
yes, because Bill Ripken is obviously a big fan of Scott Rogowski's and vice versa, because we're not doing that. So inside the zone joke. And then on the hockey side, I mean, obviously Kevin Weeks, I worked my first show with him, the consummate pro. One of the nicest, funniest people that I know. And he really is one of those analysts and one of those TV personalities that just makes everyone around him better. And Bill Lindsay's a lot of fun. Dave Reed, obviously great. Like, I don't know, like Hartsy's fun. A lot of times since I'm hosting on the fly, I'm literally flying solo every now and again. You know, you get to co-host with someone when they're a certain amount of games. So I haven't been able to work with as many analysts as I would like on the hockey side, but I have to say top to bottom, everyone is tremendous. But I do remember like getting to see Barry Melrose, and this was funny. And I know he's probably just saying this, but when I was just a correspondent, when I was at the Avalanche and I would do hits on NHL Network, he was on. And he said I was his favorite reporter, which I'm pretty sure wasn't the case, but it made my season to hear Barry Melrose say that.
There you go. That's
so I was a little starstruck when I saw him. Yeah, exactly.
I can't blame you. And just want to give a shout out to our friend Steven Nelson, who big listener of the program, who is another great person to work with. All right, so we'll start wrapping this up here. Talk a little DAZN boxing here. Obviously, you know, Ak and the Boxing Bully Barack, you're doing all that boxing stuff with them. So, you know, my question for you, and, you know, you recently did some tweets about this in a video, is Mike Tyson returning, and is he going to be on DAZN?
Great question. I think Mike Tyson will be returning in an exhibition format. There's no way it's going to be like Rocky VI where he's fighting like the current heavyweight champion. Great movie, by the way.
Mayweather versus Tyson on DAZN. That's where it is. That's what needs to happen.
That is not happening. But I mean, I love the sound of it, but you want to make sure it's safe. I know he's in his 50s. He's 53. He looks great. We all saw the video. And if you haven't, look it up because it's intimidating. And it's like, dang, like he's still got it. But guys look great when they're just training and they're going against, you know, just pads or they're even sparring. But you know, when you're actually in the ring and things are at full speed, I mean, things just slow down as you get older. Like, again, Father Time, undefeated. So will he fight? I say yes. I think he will fight people that are appropriate opponents, and they will make sure it's safe. Obviously, you know, we live in the day and age where we're very well aware of the effects and the risks of CTE and, you know, head injuries. I don't think they'll wear headgear, though, because I just don't see Mike Tyson, you know, agreeing to that because I think there's just too much pride. Will it be on DAZN? I mean, I think everyone at DAZN would love for that to happen. It's all a matter of making a deal happen. And, you know, there's big money in boxing and these types of events. So, and in my ideal world, yeah, of course I'd love to see Mike Tyson fight on DAZN, and I'd love to be the reporter on the fight.
And the other big guy who might be getting in the ring soon because it seems like his NFL career is over, that's Antonio Brown. I know for a fact if he's doing a match, you'll be doing some reporting on that. And speaking of these crazy reports you do at ringside, one of my favorite boxing moments of all time has to be when Adnan Virk throws it to you to interview KSI. And this guy is mother F for this, mother F for that, FFF. You go back to Adnan. He's like, all right, LG, have him clean up next time. I mean, I just couldn't stop laughing. I don't know how you held a straight face interviewing this guy every week when he was hyping up his match and his rivalry with the Paul brothers.
That was literally the craziest week of my broadcasting career. I was legitimately, during every interview, like, oh yeah, MLB and NHL Network are just going to cut ties with me. They're like, what are you doing? Yeah, it was crazy. Well, I remember prior to the interview, so this was for the Canelo Kovalev fight. We're waiting for the Diaz fight in New York to wrap up. So we're in Vegas, but we don't want to overlap or compete with UFC. So we're like, okay, this is great. We have it all figured out, but we're like having to like fill in our broadcast, right, between fights. So they're like, okay, KSI fight's coming up next week. This is great. KSI's here. So he asked me prior to the interview, is it all right if I curse? And I was like, you know what? Let me ask the TV truck. I asked the truck. They're like, yeah, we're a streaming platform. This like is part of our edge. And, you know, like it's what makes us stand out from the rest of the crowd. I was like, yeah, man, like go for it. I didn't know he was going to take as many liberties because every other word was F this, pee that, blah, blah, blah. And I was just, yeah, you're right. I was like, it was like a normal interview. I have no idea how I wasn't like, wow. And then later on in the week, during the weigh-ins, I was doing all the interviews on stage, and we actually had